Okay, so today's video is JFC, jerk fried chicken. We're going to be jerking wings, and we're going to be using cornstarch in this one where we didn't in some of our previous videos. Alright, let's get started. We're going to go ahead and get this chicken cleaned up. The first thing we want to do with chicken when you're cleaning this thing is try and remove these feathers. I know that you guys go to a lot of places and when they cook wings they don't remove the feathers, because by right, when it's fried, is it really injuring you? No, but it's just a thing. Growing up, we just consider this not right. So make sure you clean your chicken as good as you can, and you know, as best as possible. That's all I can tell you. So I'm gonna take the time and try and pull out all of these feathers, you know, that we can find. You know, we gotta have another cleaning process that we do after this. So even if you don't find all of them at one time, don't worry about it. You'll probably catch it a little later. You understand? So just take your time and clean this. Here we're just doing what? I have 4 wings here and I have some tenderloins. So we're gonna be making chicken fingers and jerk fried chicken. And this one's gonna be extra crispy. That's why I said from the beginning that we're gonna use the cornstarch, because that's what's gonna make it have that extra crisp. Along with, we're gonna also give it a double dip. Alright, so now with the chicken tenderloin, you know, you have this tendon right here, which is the part that keeps your muscles, you know, together. It's just like a connective tissue. It's just what helps attach it to the bone. We have the exact same thing. You can eat it, you know, if you fry that or cook it, nothing happens to you. It's not bad, but it's just gonna be incredibly rubbery and chewy, meaning you know, you're gonna be chewing for days and wondering what's up with this. You know, me personally, I'll end up spitting it out. But if you missed it, it doesn't hurt you. Yeah, you know what I mean? Let me just keep it real. But it's a necessity for me to take this out of there. All right, so let's just get these tendons out of there and then move on to the next step. So this next step is an important step, and one that you can't miss. You have to clean the chicken, right? The difference between a JFC and a KFC is that the KFC is not cleaning their chicken. They'll take it and they'll throw their spices on it and they're good to go, you know, they don't care. JFC is Caribbean style, right? So we have to clean it. We clean all our meats, wash every last one of them. This is a step that you just cannot skip, folks. I know that there's cultural differences and some people think say this doesn't matter, and maybe to them it doesn't, but for us it does.
Sorry for the interruption. We have to clarify some misinformation. We use a technique called acid washing with lime to wash the chicken. The acidity helps remove any surface dirt, grime, and impurities that might be on the chicken. It won't kill bacteria, but it will improve the texture and flavor. Remember, the real key to killing bacteria in chicken is cooking it to the proper internal temperature. Now back to our regular scheduled program.
Now that we got that out of the way, you can use lime, lemon juice. If you don't have none of those, you can't even use vinegar. You just want the acidity to get the chicken as clean as possible. Again, to wash off the rawness out of the chicken, all of the dirt and grime. You have to think, these things go in factories, right? If that chicken drop on the floor, do you think that they really wash it off and put it back in it? No, they just put it into the container and give it to you. That's just how it goes. So, you know, if you're okay with that, fine. You know, or when the chicken sits into the bag and the blood is just in there and it's soaking in that blood and that nasty slime. If you're fine with that, then do you go right ahead. And then of course, guys, this is just for the video to show you guys. I don't need to waste time, because every Caribbean know this and people don't understand. After you clean chicken or wash it, you just simply bleach down the place and clean it up. That's all you gotta do. All right, so everybody, oh, the chicken thing goes everywhere. I got no words. So anyway, that's enough of that. You learned a good lesson today. Let's get back to the recipe. With this recipe, we don't have buttermilk or anything, so we're gonna make a batter using cornstarch and flour. And rotted, okay, that's a little bit too much cornstarch, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and use it anyway. So we're gonna add some flour to that, and we're probably gonna add a little bit more flour, later. That was a lot of cornstarch. Don't add this much, guys. Do about half of that, because it's just a batter, and we're gonna flour it again. So this is taking a replacement of the buttermilk. And here we have our 10 herbs and spices. I'll put the description in below. This is just like onion, garlic powder, mustard powder, white pepper, complete seasoning salt, things like that. But here's the star of the show, the main ingredient. And I'm using a powdered jerk seasoning. I like to use powdered jerk when I fry, just because I think when you use the wet jerk, it's just too much on the chicken. Now, don't get me wrong, we can use it, but I like to use the powdered, and then maybe you make a jerk sauce, which makes more sense to me. So here we're just adding water to this, because again, this is our batter. We're going to do a double dip with this. So this is almost like you're using the buttermilk, as I tell you previously. But we don't have any buttermilk, so we're just doing this. And this way it's going to be extra crispy. Now that we added all that cornstarch, this is going to be interesting to see the level of crisp. Now you see that's way too watery for me. So what I think I need to do at this point is just add a little bit more flour, which we need to, because boy, I can't believe me drop that cornstarch out like that. So we're gonna add the flour. So with this is good, because you can always add more as you go along, right? So if it's not to the consistency that you want, just add more flour to it. If it's too thick, you add a little bit of water at the time until you get a nice consistency for the batter. I think I need a little bit more jerk seasoning in there, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Now if you notice, I'm not overly seasoning this thing. The reason why, we're doing 3 levels of seasoning on this particular chicken, so you don't want it to be salty, right? So let's get to the chicken now. So here we have the tenderloins and the wings, one thing, and we're putting our spice on there again. So some people, once they season the flour, they don't necessarily season the chicken, right? You have people that make fried chicken like that, or they do it the reverse way. Season the chicken, don't really season the flour. For me, I do it both ways. I just know that you have to really take your time with the seasoning. Don't go overboard with it, because it's going to be too much and it'll be way too salty, right? So the key that you can do is just add a little salt at the end if it's not to where you need it. Now this is, I just put the smoked paprika on there that you saw, right? Just for color more than anything else, right? The paprika gives it that nice, beautiful color that we're looking for. If you are using a wet jerk seasoning right here, I wouldn't advise you to use the paprika really like that, because that jerk, the wet one, just gives it a dark color. It turns everything really dark brown really fast, you know what I mean? So if it's all you have, go ahead and use it. Don't be afraid. So now we're going to make our regular dry ingredients, which is just going to be the flour. I'm not putting no cornstarch in this. That's because we did a lot of cornstarch with the batter. And then again, paprika, really just for color more than anything else. And then some more of the seasoning. So if you've noticed, I didn't season everything one time. Everything is in batches, and I still have seasoning left over. Give that a shake real quick, and then I think I should add a little bit of the jerk seasoning in there. Not paprika, we already put paprika. Yeah, see? So we'll do some jerk seasoning, and that's it. Not much, because we season the chicken and we season the batter. So, we want flavor, but we don't want it inedible. And then now we're just going to put it into the batter and do a double dip. Just make sure everything is coated really well and covered properly. Really simple. And then just put it into this bag. I like to use a shake bag. Some people use 2 bowls and then, flip it with the 2 bowls. You can do it that way too. 1 bowl of the wet and then put it into the bowl of the dry. And that would work too. It's easy to cover. But for me, I like using a bag when I have them, because for one thing, it's easy upon cleanup, and you give it a good shake. You just can't put a lot of the chicken in there, and another thing that will happen, I will say this too, it gets wet faster because it's holding all that flour. You can't really separate it as easy as you could if you add it into a bowl. So if you're doing large batches of this, I wouldn't tell you to do this in a with a bag. I would use like a container tray or something. And then the next key to this, as we know with all fried chicken, you have to make the chicken sit there and rest. Okay, don't throw it in the pan right away. Make it sit so that the flour sticks onto it, and that way when you put it into the oil, it holds together better and it gives you a better crisp. This is even if you're not making an extra crispy like what we're doing now. If you're just making a regular one with just flour, any kind of fried chicken, you know, you can look back at some of my fried chicken recipes and I'll be showing you a lot more different style of fried chicken, and it's all going to be the same. So here it is, you see, that's it, and we just have it rest. Now we're going to put in our oil. I'm just using regular vegetable oil here. Of course you can use peanut oil, whatever oil you have. I mean, if you have money you can use peanut oil, but us people on a budget, we have to use regular oil. And then I put pimento seed and a scotch bonnet. That scotch bonnet is frozen, which is why it's popping up like that. You take them out and then you add your chicken, right? And these chickens are just gonna go ahead and cook for, I'm gonna say, about 10 minutes or so, 10-12 minutes. You know, if the oil was more oil in the pan, you would just wait for them to float. Basically, it's for chicken wings. Yeah, that's all I do. Chicken wing, chicken legs, everything. I just wait for it to float. Once it floats, you know it's cooked. This doesn't have that amount of oil in there, so you gotta kind of just turn them evenly, you know, and often. So I would do like, you know, 3 minutes turn, 3 minute turn. That's how I kind of do it. That way it doesn't burn too much or get caught on the, you know, the bottom and just give you a nasty looking chicken. So that's it, and you're pretty much done here. You know, this is it at this point. We're just waiting to eat. For me, I'm making mashed potatoes and coleslaw with this. I mean, if we go against KFC, we might as well go against KFC. Why stop here, you know? When you order a 2-piece or 3-piece, them always give you mashed potato and gravy with with coleslaw. So nothing beats homemade. I mean, you can't beat it. Now look how crispy that is and beautiful. Another thing I'm gonna tell you that I advise you to let the chicken sit and rest a little bit. You know, don't try and eat it as it comes out. And there we are. We're done. JFC, guys. Thank me later. Jerk fried chicken. Oh my goodness, look at the crisp on that. Nice. All we need now is some teeth, you know. So let's devour this. That's it, nothing else. I don't even want a sauce right now. I'm good to go. And there we are, chicken tenders with gravy, mashed potatoes and coleslaw. JFC, Chef Ballo. Give me a like and boom, hit that subscribe, at least a little one subscription, and turn on the notifications. Alright, that's it. Let me go for a swim. I'll talk to you guys later. One love.